Hello and good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Very, very excited. We have probably the biggest number of agents registered for today's training, and that's so exciting. That just means so many of you are so interested in the opportunity to cross-sell. So we have a very, very special guest here with us. We have Greg Esposito from Guaranteed Trust Life with us. Greg, thank you so much for joining us here today.
So it's a blast. So excited that you invited me and looking forward to talking to everybody.
Yeah. So, today's focus of this webinar is to really teach agents how to cross-sell hospital indemnity. We all know the importance of cross-selling, and I know we're going to be going through those kind of key things to talk about with your Medicare Advantage clients during today's training. We're going to talk a little bit about GTL's product, and then we're going to really focus in on how to use your CSG tools to cross-sell and really being able to pull up your client's Medicare Advantage plan alongside some hospital indemnity plans and really figure out which plans and which riders would be the best fit for the client. So that's really what we're going to go through in today's training. If you have any questions as we're walking through the webinar, feel free to type those questions into the questions box. I will be monitoring the questions and answering most of them as they come in. Today's webinar is also being recorded, so we know that this is still a busy time of year for you. So if you have to step away, we totally understand. You will automatically receive a copy of today's training following the presentation. So before we get started, if you're familiar with the webinars that we do at here at CSG, I want to get a better understanding for the agents that we have on today's training. I think that allows us to really tailor this webinar to you. That way you get the most out of today's presentation. So my first question for all of you is, do you cross-sell hospital indemnity to your Medicare Advantage clients? Yes or no, but I want to. The no, but I want to really means that you are here to learn. You are here to learn how to do it, how to bring it up, how to use the CSG tools to also do your cross-sell. So just curious to know, how many of you currently cross-sell hospital indemnity? Maybe you do cross-sell, but you want to get better at it. We always talk about improving. How do we get better at selling? And hopefully, if you do sell it today, you get better at it after today's training, and you also feel more confident talking about it to your clients. So 30% of you are saying yes, you currently sell it. 70% of you are saying no, but I want to. That is awesome. I'm very, very happy that you are here with us today. I guarantee you will feel confident talking about hospital indemnity after today's presentation. One more question, a couple of questions here for you. Did you talk about hospital indemnity, this AEP, with your Medicare Advantage clients? So did you use your appointments this year already to talk about hospital indemnity? Hospital indemnity, we're going to kind of go through how you can talk about it during that initial sale, but also how you can use it as a follow-up come this time of year, the December into January. So we're really going to give you two options on how to sell it, whether that was during that initial AEP meeting or if it's a post AEP. So how many of you did talk about it? Maybe you mentioned it. Maybe you kind of gave them a little taste about it or said, hey, I'll come back to you in a couple of weeks and we'll talk about this. So it's really interesting to see. This is a very split answer. So 45% of you had said yes, you brought it up. 55% of you are saying no. So very split, 50-50. They're very interesting, but we're going to give you two options and two different ways to talk about it. So that way next AEP, you save some time during that initial appointment. As long as it's on that scope of appointment, you can talk about it. Okay, and last but not least, one more question. Is currently today, do you schedule post-AEP follow-up meetings with your Medicare Advantage clients? Because this is key. If you did not talk about it during that initial sale, or maybe you talked about it a little bit, did you schedule a post-AEP follow-up meeting? If you haven't, we're going to give you some opportunities to learn how to do that, to start having those different conversations with your clients there. So just a couple more seconds to finish wrapping up this. Did you schedule or do you schedule your post-AEP follow-up meetings? I know this is kind of a weird time of year. It's like you want to take a break. You work so hard. I know all of you work so hard, and it's like you just want a breather. But you know there's so much more opportunity there. There's so much more opportunity to cross-sell, to help with your commissions, to help with your retention. And it's like you want to take a break, but you know there's more. You know you have more in you. So it's, again, this is a little bit split as well. So 41% of you are saying yes. 59% of you are saying no to this. So thank you for answering those questions for us. That really helps Greg and I tailor this webinar to you and answer those questions. So before we get started, before I hand it over to Greg here, a couple of things I want to point out to you just with CSG before we get started. If you are new to CSG, all of you have access to CSG, whether that's through your Integrity upline or through Medicare Center. So the screens that I have pulled up for you is just the standard CSG, but you may have access it through your Integrity upline or through Medicare Center. For those of you that are new to CSG, we do offer a variety of products, and we really focus on enabling you to cross-sell. So not only do you have the Medicare Advantage and MedStep quoting, but we also have the hospital indemnity, the dental, and the final expense, really helping you put together a full portfolio for your clients. So I'll get a little bit more into CSG as we kind of get later on in today's presentation, but I'm going to hand it over to Greg to kind of kick us off on today's webinar. Let me go ahead.
Hey, thanks, Anna.
Yes. I'm going to
really do appreciate being able to be with everybody today. And I have to say, congratulations to everybody here who has made it through AEP and survived and thrived. And, just like Anna said, it's a great time to take a break, but wow, there's a lot of other stuff out there. And hospital indemnity is a great way to go ahead and help your clients even more than you already did this past AEP. So, Anna, can you verify? Can you see my screen? Are you all good?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. So, let me just make one other change here. All right. So, hospital indemnity, GTL Advantage Plus Elite. That's the product we're going to chat about today. Just a little bit about GTL. We've been around since 1936, mutual insurance company, AM Best rating, A-, excellent, zero debt on our balance sheets. What we really do at GTL is we create ancillary products, specifically just like the one we're talking about today, hospital indemnity. We launched this plan called Advantage Plus back in 2005. It has been the market leader ever since. And every few years, we do an upgrade to make sure it's still the best one out there. We did an upgrade in the fall of 2021, and now the product's called Advantage Plus Elite. It is the market leader, and we are always hoping to work hard to make sure that stays just like that. We like to create some tools for you to use as an agent so that it's easy for you to cross-sell, easy to bring up, and most importantly, you can sell it compliantly and quickly so that, you don't have a ton of time to cross-sell it, when you're having a Medicare appointment or when you're reaching back out to the client for another appointment. So we want to make sure that it can be done quickly, and that's why we develop tools for you to use, a consumer video I'll share with you today, infographic, and even a client presentation that you can use with your clients if you're selling virtually. Now, great reasons to sell hospital indemnity. Here's the top three. It's really going to help your clients' financials. It's going to help create a long-term client and really going to generate a lot of referrals for you. That is something I hear all the time from agents about how many referrals their hospital indemnity clients give to them. If you're brand new to hospital indemnity, I know many of you are from listening to that data, here's how it works. Let's say you're talking to your client about Medicare Advantage, and they're lucky enough to be in an area where they do not pay a premium for their Medicare Advantage plan. That's always great. So when they start using their plan, let's say with this example on the screen, they go to the emergency room. Well, that $100 copay, pretty manageable for most people. However, when they really wish they had a hospital indemnity plan is when they have something where they go to the ER via ambulance. they're in the ER for a couple hours, and then they're in the hospital for a couple days. Well, now that Medicare Advantage copay, that's going to add up to $1,000 or more, and that's when they really wish they had a hospital indemnity plan. A lot of people don't know what it is, so it's great to bring it up. So what you can do is you can cross-sell a hospital indemnity plan, really affordable premium, so when they do have that future hospitalization, they actually end up with zero net out-of-pocket costs. They still have their Medicare Advantage copays, but they're getting that money from their hospital indemnity plan, and that takes care of their copays. Now, here's a video that's great that you can share with your clients.
So, you just enrolled for Medicare Advantage health coverage. Great choice. Did you know there is additional coverage you can add to protect you from the out-of-pocket medical expenses you are still responsible for? Help fill any gaps in coverage and strengthen your financial protection with a hospital confinement indemnity insurance policy from Guarantee Trust Life Insurance Company. Since 2005, GTL's industry-leading hospital indemnity insurance has been helping clients lower or completely eliminate their net out-of-pocket expenses stemming from Medicare Advantage copays and deductibles after a hospitalization event. Coverage is affordable and pays you directly based on your time in the hospital, regardless of any other healthcare coverage you have or where in the U.S. you receive care. Your potential out-of-pocket costs could be for a variety of services, including ambulance trips, outpatient therapy, critical accidents, and more. GTL's hospital indemnity insurance allows you to customize your coverage to help cover these and many others. Let's see a quick example on how it works. Meet Beth. She is 65 years old, and her Medicare Advantage coverage leaves her responsible for a daily hospitalization copay of $300 per day for her first 6 days in the hospital. Knowing she would be responsible for her high copay, her agent helped her customize and apply for a GTL hospital indemnity insurance policy. Beth's new policy provided a restorable 6-day benefit period of $300 per day for less than $25 per month. A few months later, Beth suffered an illness that kept her in the hospital for 6 days. Her GTL hospital indemnity insurance kicked in after the first 6 hours of her stay. Beth received $1,800 directly from GTL for her hospitalization, which she used to completely cover her Medicare Advantage copay. Instead of worrying about how to pay her high copay, Beth could focus on her recovery without a financial setback. You shouldn't have to worry about covering out-of-pocket medical expenses, so now is a great time to think about GTL's hospital indemnity insurance.
Great video there, and agents tell me all the time that this video does a wonderful job of getting the client to understand how this product works, so definitely use it. It's also a great way to prospect with your clients about getting an appointment for a hospital indemnity sale. So more on that in a little bit. A little more history on GTL's hospital indemnity plan. We've had it for 17 years. We have never increased the rates. We have never lowered policyholder benefits. So a great track record with regard to product pricing and how it works. We also built it so it's easy for clients to understand. The video really helps. And it's just easy for the clients to use because we have the best claims processing system in the business. Cross-selling tools are great, the video, the infographic, and also with regard to processing applications, our website can process and issue coverage in just a couple minutes. So I told you I was going to prove to you how it can help your clients' financials, share with you a couple examples. What you see on the right side of your screen are actual claim benefits paid out to hospital indemnity holders, individual ones. So you can see one client whose agent told them about hospital indemnity, they got a policy. So far, they've received a little shy of $90,000 in claims. So when you're looking at these numbers, first think about how many of your clients have this type of money in their bank account. Most people do not. Also, you'll have some people who do have big chunks of change, if you will, in their bank account, but I'm sure they'd rather use it on vacations or, on their grandchildren than on medical expenses. So when it comes to processing claims, GTL's been doing it a long time, and we have a great process to make sure we pay them quickly and efficiently. One last little data point I'll send out to you is GTL's paid over $192 million in claims in the last 5 years on their hospital indemnity plan. So this thing really works. People buy it, they use it, they love it. How is this going to work for you? Is this something that's worth your time to bring up? Absolutely. For years now, agents have been telling me that at least 70% of their Medicare Advantage clients buy a hospital indemnity plan when they bring it up to them. And that's really the key thing today. You just have to bring it up. If you bring it up and show them the video, it's almost sold. So that's a great thing to know. Other thing too, you can sell this year round. So even though GTL gets a ton of business in during AEP, we still get a lot in the rest of the year. So however you want to sell this plan, whether you want to cross-sell it during a Medicare appointment or you just want to do it separately, however you want to do it, works for everybody. Pays really nice first-year commissions, but more importantly, renewal commissions for the life of the policy. So you can really develop a great book of business, commissions, and renewals. Now, we offer this plan in 44 states, but you can use it in all 50. So once you have the plan, you can use it in all 50 states. If you change your MA plan in the future, or if you move to another state, doesn't matter. Just keep paying your premium, and you can keep using the plan. So setting up the plan is really easy. The first thing you do is you take a peek at the client's Medicare Advantage plan, and you look for inpatient hospitalizations. How many days do they have a copay for on their Medicare Advantage plan? Is it 5 days, 6 days? Well, let's just say it's 6 days. Well, then you would match that up with a 6-day base plan from GTL. So every day they're in the hospital, they got a benefit coming from GTL. Now, you're not just getting 6 days because these base plans, they restore an unlimited amount of times after 60 days of no use. More on that later. So what do we do next? Second thing, we take another peek at their Medicare Advantage plan. How much do they owe per day when they're in the hospital? Is it $320, $350, $400, or whatever it is? You match it up with the benefit from GTL. You can go as low as $100 per day, as high as $750 per day. Now you get a couple other things included with whichever base plan you choose. Emergency room benefits. So if they go to the ER or an urgent care facility due to an injury, they'll get a $150 emergency room benefit. Also, if they're in the hospital due to a mental health condition, that's going to mean their benefit when they're in there per day is $175 per day. Now, if they're in the hospital for a sickness or illness, well, then they're going to get that benefit we talked about at the top of the screen that you set up personally for them to match their Medicare Advantage plan. So, what triggers the coverage? This is a question that a lot of people ask, like, how does this thing work? After they watch the video, they're like, this thing sounds good. Is it affordable? Yes. How does it work? Well, you need to just let them know it kicks in, triggers, if you will, after a certain amount of time that they're in the hospital. Now, we're going to not talk about the one-day benefit plan today because that's really an underage type of benefit period. The one you're going to work with mostly with your Medicare clients is the 3-day through 10-day benefit period, matching it up with what they have for an MA copay. Now, all of those plans kick in after 6 hours of being in the hospital. So once you're in the hospital 6 hours, your GTL plan is kicking in. So what can you use this for? Just about anything. Scheduled surgeries, hip replacements, heart surgery, cancer surgeries, sudden illnesses, heart attack, stroke, rush to the hospital, car accident, just fell and broke your hip, something like that. All of these things work. It's really about being in the hospital for at least 6 hours, your plans kick in. Now, some of you are wondering, well, what about observation coded stays? Well, don't worry about it with GTL. We built this plan so you could use it. So if your client is in the hospital long enough for their base plan to kick in, 6 hours, we don't really care if they're coded to observation or as an inpatient. So no worries about observation coding with the GTL plan. So here's how the base plans restore. Let's just say you have a 6-day benefit period. You go in the hospital for 3 days. You come home. Everything's great for the next 60 days. So when you wake up on that 61st morning, you have a brand new 6-day benefit period to work with for anything in the future. So automatic, unlimited restoration. Now, sometimes it's a little bit different. You go in the hospital for 3 days. You come home. but before that automatic 60-day restoration occurs, you need to go back in the hospital. Well, you only use 3 of your 6 days that first time in, so you still have those other 3 to use. And then after you're out of the hospital for 60 days, you guessed it, you get a brand new benefit period to work with. So whichever benefit period you choose, they all restore the same way, unlimited amount of times after 60 days of no use. Okay, so here's some fun for you guys, some real knowledge sharing. I'm going to share with you how agents tell me they bring up hospital indemnity. So the first thing is if you're cross-selling it during a Medicare Advantage appointment, you're eventually going to be explaining the Medicare Advantage plan, and you're going to get to the point where you have to say to the client, Mrs. Smith, when you're in the hospital, you will have to pay $250 per day for days 1 through 6. You're just explaining what they're responsible for, right? So right there is a great opportunity for you to say something like this. Now, that's a copay that can definitely add up, and I don't want you to really have to worry about budgeting for it. So after we get you set up with this Medicare Advantage plan that's going to work great for you, I'll explain how for probably about $1 a day we can remove that worry of budgeting for that copay. Does that sound like a good idea, Mrs. Smith? She's definitely going to say, yeah, you're here today because I want you to make sure I pay as little as possible out of pocket. Here's another segue that a lot of agents use. They'll tell them what their copay is per day in the hospital, and then they'll say something like, Mrs. Smith, many of my clients have me design their overall health coverage so that when they have a hospitalization stay, they end up with 0 net out-of-pocket costs. Would you like me to try and design something like that for you? That works really well to just let them know that they have some copays and you have a way to take care of them. And as you go down the list here, you can also point out that there's other riders available on that hospital indemnity plan that will take care of those copays. So what if you're not going to be cross-selling this during the Medicare Advantage appointment? How could you prospect to your existing Medicare Advantage clients? What I would suggest, and what a lot of agents do, they send an email to their client shortly after January. Mid-January works great. Send them an email. Mrs. Smith, want to thank you again for taking time to meet with me, get you all set up with your health coverage. Just wanted to reach out and make sure you've got your policy in the mail, your new health ID card. Also wanted to remind you that, when we talked about your Medicare Advantage plan, you have some copays when you use it. Now, if you click this link and watch this short video, you're going to see a short video on how a hospital indemnity plan can lower those net out-of-pocket costs to 0. Great news is it's super affordable. So if you watch the video and you're interested, give me a call. I can sign you up right over the phone. Other agents will put the video link on their social media accounts, on their website. However you can get to your clients, just put the link out there with a couple sentences on how this product can lower their out-of-pocket expenses. And it really does help your clients, especially when they watch that video. They see how it works, they understand it, they're going to want to talk to you about it. We also have an infographic, so if you're not showing the video, the infographic is a great way to prospect or use it during an appointment to further explain the plan. It shows an example of how things work, and that's what's important. Clients need to understand how the product works so they can identify with it and want it for their very own. So one of the riders I'll go over with you today is the ambulance rider. I'm just going to go over some real popular riders. This rider costs anywhere from like $2 to $5 a month, super inexpensive, but it's built for use. So when your client takes an ambulance to the hospital, they get a benefit. Now, most people sign up for $250 to $300 of the ambulance benefit, but you can go as low as $50. You can go as high as $400. It's a super easy rider to explain, like in 10 seconds. All you have to say is, Mrs. Smith, with this ambulance rider with GTL, every time you use an ambulance, you'll get $300. You can use this benefit up to 4 times per year and up to 12 times over the life of the policy. That's it. That's how great and easy of a rider it is to explain, because it really doesn't have fine print to it. You take an ambulance, you get your money. Even if you're not admitted, you get your money. Emergency room, observation stay, you're getting your money. And if you need to take another ambulance, maybe a day or so later, to another hospital or skilled nursing facility, that's another benefit. And it does have a trigger on it for air ambulance. So here's an objection you may get. What if a client says, well, I'm paying for my Medicare Advantage policy. I've got a premium, and now you're talking to me about a hospital indemnity premium. Why do I want to have two premiums to pay? So let's take a look and see what Mrs. Smith would pay if she didn't have a hospital indemnity plan and she used an ambulance and went to a hospital for one day. If those are her Medicare Advantage copays, just that one day, she's $550 out of pocket. Now, what if she had a hospital indemnity plan from GTL? Let's say a 6-day benefit period, ambulance rider for $250, $320.55 is what it would cost her for the entire year if she was 65 years old. So it's really easy when you look at any of these quotes here for these ages, it just makes sense. And when you show clients this type of an example, they realize quickly that, wow, just using this plan once or twice kind of pays for itself. And then you can remind them, yes, and you can use it over and over again because these benefit periods restore. And the kicker is there is no maximum amount of money that GTL will send you where we come back and say, sorry, that's enough, you can't have any more. There's no maximum limit on this plan. Outpatient therapy rider is new as of 2021, very popular. So if your client needs physical, occupational, speech therapy, maybe they had a stroke, maybe they had rotator cuff surgery, a knee surgery, hip surgery, they need some physical therapy, this is a nice rider to have. You can choose 15 or 30 days per calendar year of a benefit and get $50 a day. And it also includes some chiropractic therapy at $50 a day for up to 5 days per calendar year. Another popular rider, probably in about 40% of the applications we get in, is our lump sum cancer rider. This one is very comprehensive. If your client doesn't have cancer insurance, this is a great rider to have. First, it covers internal invasive spreading cancers, stage 1, 2, 3, and 4. It also covers cancer in situ, which is stage 0 or very early stage cancer. That's a 25% benefit. And then also skin cancer. So basal cell or squamous cell skin cancer, that's a $500 benefit, payable 3 times over the life of the policy. So a very comprehensive rider. That's why I say it's built for use. Skin cancer, early stage cancer, internal stage cancers, 1, 2, 3, 4, all tackled within this rider. Most agents sell about a $10,000 rider. It's good to cover their MOOP twice. So if they happen to be diagnosed with cancer, they start getting some treatments, they're going to have their probably 80-20 copay for chemo or radiation. They're going to hit their MOOP pretty quickly. And then if the calendar year turns, they'll have another MOOP to hit if they're still getting treatment. So good to have double the MOOP in terms of cancer coverage. Underwriting is a snap with this product. There's 5 questions. If you answer them all no, you get it. If you answer any of them yes, you don't. There's nothing else besides that. There's no MIB, RX check, or medical records needed. Answer the application questions, no, you get the plan. We do have guarantee issue from ages 64.5 up to 68. Here's a little tip for you. Once you hit 68, it's too late. So this guarantee issue window is 64.5 all the way up until you hit your 68th birthday. Now, the lump sum cancer rider is never guarantee issue. There's 4 separate questions for that rider. This is a great plan, easy to get for most people. They'll be able to attain coverage. The product does have a 6-month pre-X. It's really simple. Your pre-existing conditions that you have when you apply, then you get your policy. You cannot use this product for any of those pre-existing conditions for the first 6 months you have it. After 6 months, you can use it all day long for any of your pre-existing conditions, but you don't have to wait 6 months to use this thing for any non-pre-existing conditions. You can use this right away, and you're going to be surprised how quickly your clients use it. Heart attacks and strokes happen, appendix rupture, car accidents happen, all those things, slips and falls. So you'll be surprised how quickly your clients do use this coverage. Most people pay monthly bank draft, but we can draft for any mode at GTL. So we've covered a lot in a little bit of time. I told Anna a little bit before the training that I do have a 45, 50-minute full-blown training on the product and the details that I'm happy to share with you guys. But I wanted to let you know a little bit about the product, a lot about how agents go ahead and sell it and the success they have with it and how happy their clients are that they took a couple minutes to tell about it. We've got a great sales support crew here at GTL. You can get us via phone, via email, text to chat, and I put my email address on the screen there. Please take a snapshot of the screen and put me in your phone. Feel free to email me at any time. Always happy to help. Anna, you got it from here.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Greg. I know we have a lot of questions that have come in, and I promise we will get to all of your questions here in just a little bit. But I appreciate your time on going through all of those different benefits. A lot of questions are, how do I get all of the videos, all of the product materials? So do you just recommend going to the GTL website to grab those videos, or is there another route to capture that?
Yeah, so we've made it pretty easy to get those. First off, I'll send a link to you with the video, Anna, that you can forward. And then the other nice thing is once you click on the link, it'll take you to the Vimeo site, and from there you can download it right onto your desktop. We have our client brochure for this product, has the QR code for the video right on the front cover. So there's always different ways to access it. But yeah, we can definitely get those to you. And you guys are right on the right path. Use that video a lot, and it really helps get the client interested, understand how it works, and you'll just have a great amount of success using the video.
Right, yes. And I'm a visual learner. I have to see, I have to watch. And that's one thing I really, really like about the CSG Fill the Gaps tool, is because it's going to give you another visual to use with your client. So not only do you have the product brochures and you have the video, but you also can show them apples to apples why they need this particular plan. So we're going to get into how you can use the CSG quoting software to cross-sell. And we're going to go through a couple of different examples on how you can do that. And Greg, I am going to be kind of chiming in and asking you some questions as I'm demoing this tool. So just be aware, I'm going to reach out to you a couple more times. But if you like what you heard about the GTL product and you want to get contracted, please make sure that you reach out to your Integrity upline so they can make sure that you get all of your contracting done to write GTL. So a couple ways in which you can access CSG. I mentioned this earlier. The first way is going directly through your Integrity upline's branded quoting tool. Or if you have access into Integrity's Medicare Center platform, you can also access CSG through there. So I did sign into a Medicare Center account here. All you have to do is the upper right-hand corner where your name is, there's that CSG app. Just click on the CSG app. It's going to say loading, 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 and then it will bring in the CSG quoting platform for you. If it's stuck on loading, just make sure that you don't have any pop-up blockers. So to get started, you first have to run your Medicare Advantage quote. Now, if you wanted just to quote hospital indemnity as a standalone, you can absolutely do that. So we do have standalone hospital indemnity quoting. But if you want to do it alongside that MA to really show your clients and to give them the visual, you need to run your Medicare Advantage quote first. Please make sure that you are using the newer version of the Medicare Advantage quoting. I always like to explain to agents that this newer version allows you to enter in and save prescription drugs in preferred pharmacies. It's also going to give you access to our Medicare Advantage e-application and also the Fill the Gaps tool. So make sure you're using the newer version. If you wanted to create a client profile, that way it will automatically save their information, their drugs. You can absolutely do that. Otherwise, you can just start by running your quote. So entering the zip code. From there, if you did want to use the CSG quoting software to run your Medicare Part D, your PDP plans, or if you wanted to do special needs, you can also run those on here as well. In this case, we're just going to stick with a Medicare Advantage quote. We do have different options for sorting, and then we also have that low income subsidy. The next portion is where you can enter in and save prescription drugs in preferred pharmacies. So do make sure that you have your client created or a client selected, and then you can enter in those drugs in those pharmacies. Now, for the purpose of demoing the Fill the Gaps tool, I'm going to say no to the prescription drugs, and then I'm going to hit Get Quote. So it's also important to note when you are quoting your Medicare Advantage plans on CSG is we quote 100% of the market for you. So you are going to see all plans in the market. So anything you would see on Medicare.gov, you're going to see on CSG. We are not looking at any of your contracts. That's the biggest question that I get from agents using CSG is why am I seeing everyone? We're showing you everybody so you can answer client questions and make the most informed decisions to help your client find the best plan for them, help them answer questions. During this time of year, they saw tons of ads, they saw tons of TV commercials, flyers, talking to their friends, their family members, and maybe those relatives or those friends or those advertisements had them have questions about plans that you don't represent. You could come in here and you can show them the difference between the plans that you represent and the plans that they're seeing ads for and why you don't recommend that for them based upon those needs assessments that you walk through with them. So we want to show you 100% of the market here. As you're scrolling through the quote results screen, a couple of things to see here is you have a couple of different options. If you click on show plan highlights, this is going just to give you a brief overview or summary of that plan, but it also brings in all the enrollment data for that particular carrier. So this is key for understanding how many lives are covered and then what is that eligibility in the zip code that you ran the quote in. So this is key data for you as the agent to really understand your area of opportunity and how well a carrier is performing. The view plan details, this is where you're going to get into the actual benefits and the cost as we're talking about the hospital indemnity plan. So once you click on a particular plan, you have your overview section, and then you have all of your benefits and your costs. So this is where you would spend a majority of your time going through. So I'm going to give you a couple of different examples here on how we're going to start using the Fill the Gaps tool. So let's say this is post-AEP. You already signed them up for a plan. This is the plan that you signed them up for. All you have to do is go into CSG, find that plan, click on the plan details, and you want to start looking at their benefits and the cost. So as Greg pointed out to you guys about that ambulance copay, you're able to see that here. As I continue scrolling down, you're going to see that emergency care visit, as Greg mentioned about that product. The inpatient hospital, this is where we're going to be focusing a lot of our time on here as we're talking to our clients. So I enrolled you in this plan. So for days 1 through 6, you have to pay $295 per day. So let's help you with that copay. So all you have to do is come up here, click on this Fill the Gaps tool in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. This is where you can adjust the age, the gender, and the tobacco status. If you did not have that client profile pulled up or saved, you can adjust those numbers there and hit Search Quotes. So here in your Fill the Gaps, we're going to list out to you a bunch of different hospital indemnity carriers that are in the space. So how these plans, again, are designed is by the day benefit amount. So you'll see 6-day, 10-day, 5-day, 3-day. You want to make sure that you are finding the benefits that would match with that particular plan. So that's why we look to see what this plan covered. So if we want to scroll down and look at GTL's plan, we want that 5-day benefit. We can click on that 5-day benefit. You can add in multiple different carriers to this particular screen. So if you wanted to do a 5-day and a 6-day, or you wanted to compare different companies, you can do that on here. So in this case, I'm just going to select the GTL, the 5-day benefit, and I'm going to add it to my comparison. So when I do that, now, actually, I needed the 6-day. I'm sorry, I'm going to come up here and I'm going to fill the gaps. And this is where you can come in here and you can do multiple different options here. I'm going to grab this 6-day, but I'm going to show you again how you can compare multiple products here together. I'm going to go back here. Sorry. I'm going to reselect that and then select the 6-day benefit. Okay, let's find that United Healthcare plan that I selected. I'm going to click on the view plan details, fill the gaps, search quotes, and then I'm going to find that 6-day benefit. Add to my comparison. Okay, So here what we have is we can start talking through them. And this is where I mentioned this is your visual, okay? This is another way for you to list out, here are all of the highlighted benefits on how hospital indemnity insurance can help fill these particular coverage gaps here. So you can start talking to them about this. So for $295 for days 1 through 6, you can start looking at what that would cost them. So as you continue scrolling, you can find the options. Maybe we want to round up to the $300, and then you can see what that cost is. And you can easily adjust these amounts as you start going through the benefits and what they feel comfortable talking about. Now, keep in mind, when you are in the hospital, it's not just the hospital bill, okay? It could be other factors that they are losing income or would have to pay for if they were to be in the hospital. So what I tell agents when you're talking to a client about this, it's if you're in their house, right? You're in their home, look around. Do they have a cat? Do they have a dog? What else is going on in their house? And say, okay, Miss Smith, if you were to be in the hospital, who's going to take care of your cute little dog that's sitting right here next to you? You have to pay a neighbor. Do you have to board that particular dog? So a lot of these hospital indemnity plans, they will pay out to the policy holder so they can pay their bills as they see necessary. So you can increase this amount. We just went on the vacation a couple of months ago, and it cost us $50 a day to board our dog. So keep that in mind too. What are the other costs beyond just their hospital bill that this hospital indemnity plan? Are they going to be out of work? What kind of setbacks would they have if they were not working? So you can add more than what they need, so it continues to pay out to the policy holder. As you go through these options, Greg talked about different outpatient surgery writers as well. You can add those to here, and you can really see what the costs for each of the benefit amounts are as you start adding in here and talking to them about the importance of the different writers that you're seeing there on your screen. That skilled nursing facility writer. Again, this goes back to, are there other costs associated with a skilled nursing facility stay outside of that copay? Again, boarding pets, being out of work, bills adding up. You still have to pay your bills even when you're in a skilled nursing facility. So what are some options that you have to add those different writers on? As you continue scrolling through, you can also mention that this emergency care, would be automatically included. In most cases, if an individual is going to the hospital, they're taking an ambulance ride. We already talked about that. So $250 a day. I was driving into work today, and of course, every single day on my drive into work, it never fails, there's a car accident. I drive on this large expressway I'm in Omaha, and it never fails. There's always a car accident. Today, there was a car accident, and guess what? That car accident had an ambulance there, taking somebody to the hospital. So again, the importance of it, and I always tell agents the story about the importance of that ambulance there. They never should have to question whether or not to call for an ambulance. It should never be a question. I had a relative, I always tell this story about, he suffered from a stroke, and he lived in a rural area, and he was so stubborn. He didn't want to pay for his ambulance ride. He was so stubborn that he, had his wife drive him in. And the doctors told him, if we could have got to you sooner, we could have helped you sooner. That ambulance ride isn't just transporting you quickly, it's providing you help in that ride to the hospital if you need it. So maybe that could be CPR in progress. Who knows? Okay, just for $1.79 a month to add that. What's the importance of that? Talking through those examples. It's not just talking through your plan, but it's talking about what have you seen? What have you experienced? How can you add that emotional piece to talking to them? So we went through all of this. We went through how this could help. We also have these additional benefits. We talked about the cancer writer. You can add that cancer writer to it. Detail also has some different writers like critical accident, outpatient, They have a short stay included, so you can walk through all of it. So this is great product training for you as well, but it really provides you a visual. So now you have the plan set up. This is a base plan. We got you your hospital confinement. We did add a little surgery rider. You could, again, you can take that on or off depending on what you want to do. But then you can think about it another way too. So I have a base plan. I have a base hospital indemnity plan that's really meant to cover your inpatient. It includes your ambulance rider. It doesn't include all the other riders to it. Let me just show you. I'm going to come up to my Fill the Gaps tool again, and I'm going to select that plan again. I'm going to give you another option. I'm in here selecting the 6-day benefit, add that to my comparison. So now I have GTL's plan pulled up twice, both 6-day benefits. One of this column right here is going to be basic coverage, getting you through that inpatient hospital. But this next one, right, this next one may be adding some additional riders, okay? And you can go through that with them, have those different conversations. Maybe you want to then add in a couple of different additional riders like the cancer in this case to this. Okay, so however you customize that plan, you're giving them options. So this is kind of standard to get you through it, but this would be more of like a Cadillac plan. Then this gives you that extra coverage. This gives you the cancer rider. This gives you the short-term skilled nursing rider. So you can then present them with two options. Which one works for you? Which one works for you? That does not allow them the opportunity to say, do you want this? Yes or no, right? But which one works for you? Okay, so you can do that with them. You can create all these different customized plans to really help them feel comfortable with the plan too, especially if you're nervous about talking to them about having to pay for a hospital indemnity plan. So that's how you can do it if it was just coming in after that initial sale. The other option you can do is if you go back to your quote results and maybe you're in a meeting with your client, this is during AEP or this is during that initial Medicare Advantage sale, and they're still comparing their different plan options. And if you have that hospital indemnity check marked on the scope of appointment, you can talk to them and have questions about that being compliant. As long as it's check marked on that scope, you can absolutely talk to them about it. So maybe they're they're deciding between two plans. You can come in here and you can use your compare quote. You can select multiple plans. They just have to be the same type of coverage. So let's say they're deciding between Humana and Blue Cross for this example. I have these two plans. I have them pulled up side by side here. I can look at the benefits side by side and I can go down. I can say, okay, well, let's talk about the pros and cons of both of these particular plans. And as we're talking about the pros and cons, we can also come in here and fill the gaps. We can start adding some different, one of those plans was a 4-day benefit. One of them was a 5-day benefit. If I remember correctly, maybe it was 6. But I can come in here and I can select that 4-day benefit. And I can select the 5-day benefit, and now we can see everything and put it out on the table for them and really customize these plans. So if we go with the Blue Cross, this is the hospital indemnity plan we want. If we go with the Humana, this is the hospital indemnity. So really allowing you to compare different plans to find the best plan for your client. So what's great about this, after you're done with it, you can always come in here, you can print and you can save these comparisons. When you download it to a PDF, you can also, upload it into your email, send it over to them, but then you have a good base to go off as well for that. So that's how you can use the CSG tool to cross-sell with the Fill the Gaps. Let's kind of switch gears here. We're coming up on the last 10 minutes. I want to make sure that we answer all of your questions because we do have a lot of questions that have come in. So let's start reviewing some of those here. And Greg, I'm probably going to have to refer you to a lot of some of these plans or some of these questions. Dick, you had a question about can an Advantage Plus Elite be sold with a Medicare supplement or just as a standalone? So you can sell it alongside you can sell it as a standalone. It doesn't have to be with just a Medicare Advantage plan, but that's really how these plans are designed to help. But Greg, what's your lowest? What does your your age start at?
Oh, so we go from age 40 up through 85 on this plan. And, it can be sold with any plan. With regard to hospital indemnity, there's no requirement to have any type of other insurance. So it can be, I would say most agents do not cross-sell the hospital indemnity plan with Medicare supplement. Maybe they would instead look at something like a standalone cancer plan. But yes, it could be done, but mostly it's all done with Medicare Advantage.
Okay. And Andrew asked a question about, he said, why isn't PT covered? Is that covered or is that not covered?
What was that, physical therapy?
Yes.
Yeah, so the new outpatient therapy rider is the one that you'd want to select for that, and then you can get that rider, and you get up to $50 per day, up to 15 or 30 days per calendar year, depending upon what you select when you apply. So just adding a rider would help them with that. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Another question came in is, can any of these riders be added after the indemnity plan has been approved, or do they have to go through their, retake the application again?
All right, so that's a great question, and it kind of leads me into something I definitely wanted to mention I have here in my notes while you were going through. So, GTL pays all claim benefits based upon the GTL coverage. So what Anna talked about earlier with regard to getting them a little more coverage up front, maybe even more than their current copays, that's a great idea. So with regard to that, you can go ahead and get them what they need up front. If you do need to add a rider later, you can do that, but they do have to answer the application questions again. So it's really good to get them the coverage that they need up front, and that way they've got it. But you can always add riders by going through the application questions again and having to answer those. And you can always remove riders anytime you like. So you can change your coverage as needed, but it's best to get them what they need up front. That way they only have to answer the application questions once, and especially if they're guarantee issues, 64 and a half up to age 68, get them what they need. They don't have to worry about it ever again.
Great. So Rosemary has a couple of questions regarding the benefits being paid. So can you talk through the different ways in which the benefits are paid out, whether they have the hospital file the claim for them or the policyholder files the claim?
Tell you what, the agents should be really tired after AEP, but they're coming in with some great questions. So that's a great question. Here's a great tip for you, which I go over in our kind of full-blown training, but this is great for referrals too. So I always tell the agents, when you sell the hospital indemnity plan, you're going to tell them that they're going to get their policy information in the mail, in the next week or so. And in there's going to be some information and your health ID card from GTL. Keep all of that at home when you go to the hospital. Don't bring it with. So what happens is if you leave your GTL ID card at home, you go to the hospital, you come home, you fill out GTL's short claim form, you send it in, and GTL will pay the policyholder directly. They get to use the money however they like. But when they get the check in their hand, that's really when they're like, wow, this thing really works. I'm so glad my agent told me about it. I have some other people that I want the agent to tell them about. That's how you get a lot of referrals, just by letting them know to keep the GTL ID card at home. Now, it's not the end of the world if they bring it with. If they bring it with, when they give it to the hospital administrator, when they check in, somewhere in those administration forms, there's something in there that says they're assigning all their insurance benefits to the hospital. So at that point, when we get the claim form in, GTL would have to pay the hospital directly. So it works either way for us, but it's much better if they leave their ID card at home so they fill out the claim for themselves. It's super short and easy, and they get the money. Works great for both the clients and the agents as far as getting referrals.
Right, yeah, and we talked about those other pieces too that you can add on to the benefits. So think about all those other things you wanted to increase the benefit, that's money in their pocket that they can use as they see fit to pay for boarding their pet, or to pay the neighbor for coming over and letting their dog in and out. So whatever the reason is, they have that in their pocket to use as they see fit. Brad has a question. Could you go over the 5 knockout health questions?
Sure, and I'll just kind of paraphrase them here. The first one is, have you been in the hospital as an inpatient in the last 90 days? So the key word there is inpatient. So if you ask the client that and they're like, yeah, I was just there 2 weeks ago. So, well, was it an ER stay, observation stay, or inpatient stay? If it's either an ER stay or observation stay, we don't care. That's fine. They can answer that question no. So 90-day look back for inpatient hospital stays only. There's an HIV question on there. There's a question that says, do you already know that you need to go into the hospital for some testing or surgery, but you haven't done that yet? And then there is a question on there with regard to some health conditions, with regard to like cancer in the last 5 years. There's also another question with regard to certain conditions like COPD, diabetes, emphysema, and those are some kick-out conditions. So when you think about this plan, if you've got clients who've got diabetes, COPD, emphysema, they can get this plan during the guarantee issue window. That's when you want to get it for them. Other than that, most of the clients that have not been in the hospital in the last 90 days as inpatients, they don't have overwhelming health problems or anything like that serious, they're going to be able to get this plan very easily. But keep in mind that guarantee issue window is great, and that's just kind of a quick overview of the questions there for you.
Right, great. And then one other question that came in about the benefits as you were talking through the benefits being paid. Is it always a check, or could it be direct deposit?
Okay, so we usually do a bank draft. That's how 99.9% of the people do that. And if they need to, if they want to get direct billed, we need to paper app with the first premium coming in. And then in terms of claims, GTL does send a check. We do not do an EFT draft to the client. We always do send a paper check.
Okay, wonderful. I'm going to refer, and you correct me if I'm wrong, I have a lot of agents asking about commissions on this plan. Do you want to talk about that one more time, or do you want me to refer them to their upline to discuss commission?
Yeah, definitely refer to the upline on that. There's different levels of commissions, and depending upon what that upline is generally doing for the agent, if they're providing some type of admin or leads or nothing at all, then that all varies things quite a bit. Yeah, absolutely. Well, we have so many questions. The agents are so engaged in this webinar. I love it. So many questions. If we did not get to your question, feel free to either email myself or email Greg. He had his email up on this screen. Actually, Greg, I am going to give you permission to share your screen one more time here, if you don't mind. That way they have that contact information. I'm going to just make you the presenter. And as I do this, a couple of things I'm going to also kind of chat over to everybody. So in the chat section, I'm going to email you guys over to a link to attend any other CSG webinars, CSG trainings. We do have a brief kind of tutorial video as well on this. So if you want to kind of walk through, I did chat over the link to watch any of our tutorial videos. If you want to learn more about CSG and the quoting platform that we offer, that's available. Greg, are you showing your screen yet, or did I make you the presenter yet? Yeah, let me take a look here. Let me just make sure. I think you should have it now. There you go. Yep, it is on there. Awesome. So that, if you have any. Yep, go ahead. I actually have 3 quick things that I should mention that I'm sure, since you have so much interest and questions, some of them are this. When you buy this plan, your rates stay the same as you get older. So that's good to know. Nobody who's ever purchased this plan has had a rate increase. The other thing is if you're going to just circle back to your Medicare Advantage clients to just talk about GTL, if you're just talking about GTL, you do not need a scope of appointment form. So if you're going to talk Medicare and GTL, get the scope. Just circling back to talk about GTL, no scope. And then I came up with this idea while you were talking, Anna, about, I mentioned earlier that a lot of agents prospect to their existing Medicare Advantage clients, and they put the link to GTL's video in there with a little bit of information about it. But maybe it'd be great for them, the agent, to run a quote on your system and then also attach that to the email. So not only will they get a good idea of what this plan's about through the video, but also get a little bit of an estimation of what it would cost for them to have it. So just wanted to throw that in there.
Yep, I love it. Great advice there. Well, we are at our hour. Again, I appreciate the time. I was blown away by the number of agents that attended today's training, that registered. So I appreciate your time. As we kind of mentioned in the very beginning, this is the time that you just want to relax. But we know there's so much more opportunity out there for you to really increase your commission, to increase your retention. This is really key for retaining your clients and, of course, making more money and making your clients happy, making your clients feel good that they have an insurance agent who cares about them, that is willing to have these conversations. Never be afraid to bring it up. You just need to tell your client, I want to make sure that you are okay, that you're going to be financially okay, have to go into the hospital. So key things there. Again, I appreciate everyone's time. Greg, I appreciate your time so much. I love seeing you out at agent conferences, and I've seen you present too. So I know we always have a good work communication between the two of us. So I appreciate you as well.
Yeah, great to be here. And again, thanks to everybody. Congratulations on having a great AEP. A lot of business came into GTL. Thank you for that if you're already selling it. And let's just have some more fun working together. Take care.
Yeah, bye, everybody.